And we're live.
All right.
Cool. Okay, thank you all for joining us. This is our first show, first ever Mien Talk series that we're doing. And my name is Michael Saley here, and joining me is Kid uh, Satan, if you prefer that. And
Yeah.
we're the co-founders of BAONG. So none of this is scripted. We're doing this live. So at any time, if you guys have questions, just go ahead and drop that into the comments, and we'll be answering that. If you're joining us live, please do a hashtag live or hit the like button. If you're watching this on a replay later on, hit the heart for the emoji, and that'll let us know. Plus, we're also going to be answering questions after the replay too. So feel free to post anytime. So, kids, so what are we going to be talking about tonight?
All right, Michael. Thanks for the intro, man. So we're gonna be talking about why we create Ba-Ong, and we're also gonna be giving a few tips and tricks to businesses so they can implement to the business on on in terms of how they can grow the business and stuff like that. Um, yeah, before we get started, we also want to talk about a little Mien documentary film that we're talking. We have planned. We'll give you more details and so
Okay, you cut off just a little bit there, but yeah, we're gonna be talking a lot about different topics, success strategies and tips and things that you can implement in your life, wherever you are in your business, to help you, get onto the right path of success. And I think the first thing I want to start with is, Kate, tell us about your backstory, your background. You there? Did we lose you?
called Ba-Ong. Okay. Let me see. Something's wrong here.
Yeah, I think you're a little laggy.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, you're good. Looks like you're good again.
All
A little
right.
hiccup there. Cool. Yeah, tell us about your backstory, kid. Tell us about a little bit about yourself.
Yeah. So prior to getting to all this, I started a few business ventures back in the days. During the early 2000s, I started a film industry, film project that evolved into adult entertainment. And then I sold it, and from that on, and then I got into like video for events such as weddings and all this stuff. Um, yes, yeah, that's a little bit of background about what I do in terms of like film marketing. But as of right now, you know, uh, I am more into business consultant, such as if you get into a business and you wanting to know how much a particular product costs, that's why I come in. I'll break it down to you. I'll give you all the details in terms of like where to get certain products and mark it up and all this stuff. Yeah, just that is a little bit about me. What about you, Michael?
Yeah, thank you for sharing that. Yeah, a little about myself and my background. So, I started on this trip. I'm a marketing consultant. I do marketing for a living, and
Right.
some people don't understand like marketing. Like, well, what is that? What does that entail? Well, if you ever see like those ads that run on Facebook, or
Hmm.
if you ever like go to Amazon and you go buy something and you don't check out, and then a few minutes later, or an hour, you see an ad start to follow you online. That's the stuff I do, and I work with businesses and clients is to help them set that stuff up so they follow you with ads until you check out.
Right.
Uh,
Right.
what put me on this path is, I started this by accident. Actually, I'm an entrepreneur myself, and I started my own businesses when I was in college. Um, uh, that put me on this path, and I was at a point when I first started my company when I was in college. I was struggling. I didn't have
Hmm.
any mentor. I didn't have anyone to kind of really show me the ropes, and it was a lot of trial and error. And I spent a lot of money, and I lost a lot of money, but it put me in a place where it taught me about business, taught me about
Right.
marketing, and that's what's led me here to today. And that's a little bit about my backstory. But I think we could talk about, like, some of the things that the Mien community always has questions about. Now one of the biggest questions we always get asked is, like, if someone is so successful, how come they don't give back, right?
Right.
You probably hear that a lot too. How come?
Yeah. Yeah. Uh, that's like an everyday thing, man.
Yeah, I mean that's probably one of the biggest ones that people are always curious about. They're just like, if people are so successful, especially in the Mien community, how come we don't give back and give back
Mm-hmm.
unselfishly? For me and probably for you too, we meet a lot of Mien people who are in business, and a
Right.
lot of them have great advice. And in fact, they want to share. They want to share all the time.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing is, the advice that they give out sometimes, that people don't take action on that, and
Yeah.
that's probably like the biggest opportunity that's missed. I mean, I 4 years ago when I was running my first business, I ran into someone that was a mean person, and he was
Mm-hmm.
successful. And I was in a dark spot in that time of my life where I felt like I was doing everything, but I wasn't going anywhere. I felt like I was trapped.
Yep.
I had this business that was going and it was generating money for me,
Mm-hmm.
so it was profitable, but I felt like I was a slave. And everyone tells you, like, if you're a boss, if you own your own business, you're a boss, right?
Yep.
That's like the dream, right? You got freedom, right? And for me, firsthand, it was the opposite. I was a
Mm-hmm.
slave, and what I mean by that was I was a slave to my customers. I was listening to them for their demands, their support. I was a slave to my employees, right? Every time they had to request for time off, I had to go fill in, and I was a
Mm-hmm.
slave to my business. When I walked away from it, it wasn't making
Yeah.
money, and that was my. And the sad part about all that was, that was my only source of income at that time.
Yep.
And there were some days I didn't want to wake up, but I had to force myself to wake up.
Mm-hmm.
And I always wish, like, God, I hope someone could just fire me. And
Yeah.
that's about the time when I met a young person by accident, he became my mentor, because I was
Mm-hmm.
asking him about things, and he was sharing things with me, like, oh, he experienced that. And he was telling me about this, like, you should try this, try that. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna do that. And I did it, and I went back and I reported to him, and we kind of
Right.
just built that relationship. I would ask, he would tell, and I would go do it, and that started to, like, change my mindset and change how I felt about business and about things,
Mm-hmm.
and that's probably one of the things that goes back into the pillar of Ba-Ong, right? One of the things
Right.
that we get back in community, and why we're even creating this podcast, right? To
Mm-hmm.
share these experiences and things that the community could benefit from.
Okay.
So that was my encounter for that part. I mean, did you experience something like that with someone familiar with me, that I'm in person?
Yeah. Well, not particularly a Mien person. This person, it's a Chinese person. I've met this person, back in when I was in high school, a junior in high school. I was working at a car wash, right? Now he drove up with a Lamborghini, it was a 1995 red Lamborghini Diablo, and I was like, man, how can I get one of those cars? He was like, he told me that, hey man, if you want one of these, you gotta do two things, right? It's either you selling something or you have someone working for you. So he was like, if you're gonna be washing car back here, there's no way you can get it. And then after that, I talked to the supervisor, and then I started selling, right, selling services, to the car wash, and then after that, and I get promoted to supervisor, assistant supervisor, and all that stuff. But what I learned about that is, like, you can't, if you work for someone else, right, you basically working for someone else's dream, right?
Right,
Um,
right.
now if you want to pursue your own dreams and stuff, you have to create it yourself. And I'm still keeping in touch with him, here and there, but he's one of the guys that I go to. He came to America, I think, back in the 80s, with $30 in his pocket. $30. This guy came from Taiwan, right?
Oh,
So
that's a good story.
so he came over here. He started selling what do you call it, a newspaper ads.
Right, right.
So
Newspapers.
so he started selling newspaper, working with his cousin and stuff like that, and then selling he went from selling newspaper ads to flipping properties, and that's how he made his millions. So
And you told me a story related to this. I mean, you ended up being like what, the CEO of UFC, right? What's his name?
Dana White, this is like an accident. So me and my friends went to Vegas. This is like back in 2000, around 5 or 6, something like that. Um, you know, I it was during I think Anderson's fight. I wasn't, yeah, at the Palm. there's like a lot of people there, so we didn't know what's going on. So me and my cousin, we was just drinking at the bar, and then they never showed up, and then everyone that went to him, right, he ignored them. So I went up to him and said, hey, I like your business model, what type of advice can you give me? And then he was like, man, I'm a little busy, but come to my booth and stuff, So we went to his booth along with my cousin and other buddies, and we just hang out there. Yeah, but I think he was a little wasted, so he didn't give me that little advice. But but end of the day, we could hang out with him for like 5 6 hours in there.
Shoot, man, you got to meet Dana White by accident. I mean, that's the best thing someone can even ask for. What spurred that? I mean, what got him to pull you up?
Well, everyone is, like a lot of people, they were like congratulate, be like, hey, I wish you the best, this and that. But I guess I'm like the only person that approached him differently. Instead of like I'm going, asking him, for favors. I asked him like different type of in a different type of way. So I don't know why, but that was the reason behind it. But at the end of the day, we were able to mingle with him for like a couple hours in his VIP booth.
All right, guys, if you guys are listening on this, we're taking your questions. Ask us anytime, and we'll be answering it live. So also let us know, where you're listening from. We want to know we're broadcasting from Sacramento, me and Kid here. So if you're local, hit the like button. Let us know. If you represent somewhere in Cali, at least hit the heart button. And if you're out of state, hit the wow face on the emoji. Let us know.
Right.
We're curious. So, Kid, what would be an advice for someone who wants to get a mentor, right? And tell us what constitutes a mentor.
Well, I guess a mentor is someone that that's already been through all the some of the mistakes in the past, and they have like a little bit more experience. Um, you know, and when you, and they'll be able to give you like a light, a real life scenario advice and stuff like that to you, versus someone that doesn't have any experience, such as reading books and all that stuff. But I have like a few mentors, that I go to. For example, one of them, um, I think his name is Billy Fong. And I met him through a multi-marketing level business back in the days. He told me like in order for you to be successful in life, I gotta do three things. You gotta learn how to get it, keep it, and grow it. So those are the three principles that I follow. Regardless what you do in life or business, or family, first thing you gotta do is learn how to get it. For example, if you want to have a grow a family, right? First thing you gotta do is figure out a way how to get a wife or a husband, without kidnapping them, right? And
Right?
then
Without
um, and then in order for you to grow it, there's like a little you have to figure out how to grow your family, right? So how to keep before you can grow your family, you have to learn how to keep that person, right? After you learn how to figure out to keep that person, now you can grow your family by having babies. So that's what I those are the three principles that I highly recommend people to follow. I mean, I apply that to my own life, and it seems to be working very well at my end. So
That's a great advice right there. That's great tips. I think a lot of people can relate to that, especially when it comes to, professional advice, career
yeah,
wise and business wise. One of the things that working with, as a marketing consultant, working with clients, one of the things I always see is that businesses or like people who are trying to approach and get business from business
right.
owners, they
Uh-huh.
they rush to try to get business, and when
Yeah,
they don't get that business, they get upset. There might be it might be a business to business deal, or it might be maybe a business trying to sell something to a customer,
yep,
and they're and usually what happens in that kind of scenario is they rush to offer to sell. And if you think about it, it relates exactly to dating. It's like you wouldn't go to maybe for a guy who wouldn't go to a girl and ask her to marry you on the first date,
right,
but in
right.
business, some people do that. They rush to immediately try to make a sale, and
Hmm.
when they don't make that sale, they get really unhappy about it and they get frustrated. And it's a process. It's a process, right? I mean, as a business consultant, you see
Yeah,
that probably.
yeah.
What would be some tips and strategies that you could share?
Well, one of the things that I like small businesses, right? They think that you have to spend a lot of money on marketing, or a lot of money on this and that, but if you think about it, there's a lot of stuff you could use that's available to you for free, such as posting some on Facebook, getting your customers to give you a review, get them some type of incentive, to get that, to give you a review. It's free, right? Eventually, it's gonna help you grow your businesses. I think this is like approximately a year and a half, no, actually 6 months ago. I went to LA and I was coming home, coming home from LA, and I dropped by one of the restaurant down Visalia. I did a, I did a, did like a little review on the restaurant, right? And that restaurant be getting like a lot of hits, like a lot of views just because of one thing that I did on Google review. And the customer and the owner be like, hey, how did you do it? He's getting like a lot of customers because of just one review that I posted up.
Wow.
So I posted 3 photos and one review, maybe 2 sentences. That's it. And as you can see, the power of social media, social media is huge out there, and it doesn't cost you anything.
Right.
I guess that's one of the things I could give them is like, use what you have, that doesn't cost you anything.
Mm-hmm. I think I could definitely add to that too. My buddy in Orville, he owns his own restaurant, and when he was first starting off, I encouraged him to tell everyone that we knew, "Hey, snap photos, upload it to
Yeah.
Yelp, upload it to Google." Right?
Hmm.
Because people love to see those things, especially if it's a new restaurant or if your name is not really well known, you don't have a lot of reviews. I don't know about for most people, but for me, if I'm looking to try out food and I'm in town for like the first time,
Yeah.
first thing I'm gonna go to straight to Yelp. I'm gonna go to Google reviews and I'm
Uh-huh.
gonna check out the photos, right? I'm gonna check
Yeah.
out what people are saying in town and what they think about the food. And that makes a huge difference if you think about that online these days. You see Amazon reviews are like that too. Right? People are risk averse. They don't want to try
Hmm.
things out the first time. They want to see who else has done it first, who's willing to try it. And that strategy when we did that with my buddy's restaurant in Orville, that helped to really like get that foothold because in that time period he was battling with other restaurants that were like well
Right.
established, like
Right.
10 years, 8 years. So it's like you're going against like gorillas in the industry.
Hmm.
You have a huge customer base, and those people are always leaving like 5-star reviews. So we had to come in strong like that, and that was a low key strategy, just coming in easy. So I know you work with outside of restaurants too, right? What are some other strategies and businesses you've helped out?
Yes. Yes. I've done like a few, business analysts and business consultants, for different, businesses. Some of them, I'm not gonna be selling, say online, but what I do is like, someone that wants to start a business, and they don't know, how to start a business or where to start a business or how to get, whatever the supplies that they needed for the businesses. I outsource, certain things to help them get the business started, and I also find like the price point, before they launch the business. I find like the price point for them, so they don't, so they know exactly how much to charge versus how much the competitor is charging. So pretty much, I pretty much just do like a lot of demographic studies within the 5 to 10 mile radius of where the restaurant, I mean, whatever the business that they're doing it right now, and give them an idea of how much it's gonna cost them to get it started and how much the cash flow they need it to get it going, just stuff like that. But other than that, I have a very big connections with Chinese company that supplies, whatever, like just anything, smoke shop that you might need, or anything that products that they need. I have access to that as well. I also have access to 3D printing companies, that can do R&D for your products before you buy it, to do all the designing for you and all that stuff. So that's just a little bit background on what I do. But yeah, I do wear like a lot of, I wear like different hats sometimes, so
Yeah,
it's part of
yeah,
business.
absolutely. So,
Yeah.
guys, the kid here is giving out advice right here for free. I'm giving out advice too. We are open. You guys can reach out to us individually, or you can leave a comment. Get in touch with us. Our goal here is to help give back to the community and give back unselfishly. I'm a marketing consultant. He's a business consultant. we can literally like 10x, your goals. If you're a professional and you're thinking about starting a business, we can help you with there. If you're an established business and you want to scale your business, we can help you there as well. And we're talking a lot about business, but how can we make this relatable to audiences that aren't into business? Young professionals, right? People who are just getting out of college, or people who are working but they want to get to the next level, in their life. What's something you can suggest for someone who maybe wants to get a promotion? What would
Um,
you think about
I guess learn how to be a leader. I guess that's one of the biggest thing. If you want to move up or in your current role, to me, I always want to be a leader. I don't want to be a follower. So well, I'm sometimes a follower too, but I guess one of the things you should do is I think you should like what we call it finding what you want to do, right? Let's just say, for example, you want to be a manager of your current job. What I would do is go talk to the manager. Hey, how do I get what should I do to get your position? Sometimes it just require you to take like a few training courses online, or maybe you should add like some maybe some type of skills that require you to get to the position. But at the end of the day, I guess it's how you want to proceed with what you want to do, like the end goal, right? So what about you? What do you
that?
think is it's a good idea for them?
um, you and me are both, we kind of take that leadership role. For me, I look at like models.
Yeah.
I used to be at a point where when I'm thinking back to like back when I was back in college, when I just
Mm-hmm.
got out, I had all this fresh stuff in my mind. It's like, okay, how do I get a job, and how do I get experience? The old catch 22, right? You can't
Right.
get a job unless you get experience, and unless you get experience, you can't get a job.
Mm-hmm.
And me going back to that, I didn't learn it for until a really long time later in life, that there are people who have already achieved success.
Yeah.
There are people out there that have achieved success. People around us, all around us,
Mm-hmm.
right? And there are people even on your Facebook. If you just like look at like your first 50 people, you're gonna identify at least one person who's successful, who's doing well.
Right.
You
Right.
can go to that person, you can ask them, right? And
Yep.
find out what they did, because there's a pattern of success of people who have done it before you,
Mm-hmm.
and it's in every industry, right?
Yep.
And there are people all around you. Maybe you're in active local communities, right? If you know someone as a family member of another family member, you can get an introduction like that.
Mm-hmm.
And when I was starting off, once I figured that out, I looked at the people who are already doing it, and I asked a
Right.
few simple questions. Right. The first one is, what made you do it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And whenever I asked that question, it got people laughing,
Yep.
right? Because they always think about it when they first started, and that was a great way to break the tension.
Yeah.
What made you do this, right? And then after that, I would ask them a follow up question: how did you do it? What if you could do it all over again? What would be? How would you do it?
Mm-hmm.
And people, at that level would give me literally their blueprint to
Yep.
success. For a business owner, going back to that Mien person that I know, I asked him like, what were your steps? How did you get to this point, to this point, to this point? And he literally laid it all out for me.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I
I
I
mean,
um I actually volunteer. My, but before I got started out, I volunteered as a lighting technician for a theater. And from that on, I started volunteering and on like like nonprofits organization and all that stuff. And I started networking with other people, and they started giving me like little nuggets here and there. Originally I was going to school for computer engineering. I wasn't planning, I wasn't planning to become a business and accountant, right? So I started like out as a lighting technician, and then from the lighting technician, I learned how to operate cameras, and then from operating cameras, I learned how to start directing these certain things, and then from directing, right? So they introduced me to like budgeting and all that stuff. So managing. So from that on, I learned how I started getting to different type of aspect of the business, just by volunteering, and then it opens like a big door for me, so I venture from computer engineering to business consultant. So that's different. A big jump from there just by volunteering. originally, I wasn't asking for any money, but as I started volunteering, as I started getting more experiences, I wasn't thinking about money. So money just come to me automatically. So I guess if you like what you're doing, what you're doing, then the money will come to you automatically. It's a passion now. It's not a job anymore. So
Right, right, right. I was just thinking about a second part here. Going back to that, if you're fresh out of college or if you're trying to enter a new industry, right?
yeah,
Maybe you hate your job, you hate where you're at, you're feeling stuck, and you want to go try to do something else, right? Rather than jump in all the way, right? Go test it. Go test it out first, right? You literally type in Google these days and say, what's it like in this industry? Like for me, it's like, what is it like as a marketer? Right? What's it like running a business?
hmm
What's it like becoming a doctor? What's it like becoming a nurse? Right? Literally, you'll find people that tell you everything. I hate this. I like this about this job. Right?
right.
You find out about that industry before you hop into it. And if, once you have decided what something that you want to jump into, right? Don't go all in yet. Right? Stick your foot in first, and go
hmm
model after someone again. Right? Go
right,
find
right.
someone else who's done it, and then ask them a few questions. Right? I mean, you think that's a good strategy?
Yeah, yes, it is. Kay said, if you can give yourself one advice to yourself, 20 years
Okay.
ago, what would it be regarding to, a business, right? So, to me, if I would say, have an open mind, right? If you have an open mind, you will have you open yourself up to many opportunities. And then if you have if your mind is closed, your pocket will be negative, your bank account will be negative, right? So I would say, hey, never say no to any type of opportunities. If someone offer you something, take it, run with it, and then learn how to deal with it. If you keep saying no, then you won't know what you're capable of doing, and then therefore you might end up losing like a big chunk of money that you can be earning right now. Like a lot of actors, right? They regret taking a role in certain movie and it end up being one of the biggest hit. So it just like that, never say no to any opportunities. If someone offers something, at least go take a look at it. If you don't understand it, ask a bunch of questions. Someone made it. If they offer it to you, I'm sure you can make it if you follow the steps that gave it they are gave it to you. What are you, Michael?
Yeah, I mean, my one advice for being for my 20-year-old self, gosh, man, and regarding being an entrepreneur, well, first off, let me just reframe that. If you want to be an entrepreneur, the first thing you're gonna think about is what business should I start, right?
Yeah.
I always tell other aspiring entrepreneurs, don't think about that. Don't think about what business you should start.
hmm
Think about who you want to try to serve,
Right.
right? Think about who you want to try to serve. And if you guys any business owners who's ever started a business or had multiple businesses, they
hmm
usually do, right? Because you have to learn trial and error, right? Figure out who you want to serve to, right?
Yeah.
Figure out what you like doing now, and those types of people you like having conversations with, right? Once you figure that out, you want to dive in and find out what kind of problems are they having. You ask
hmm
questions like, "Hey, what's your biggest challenge doing this thing, Mr. Entrepreneur, Mr. Business Owner?" Right? And if you can start to solve their problems, that's it. That's not just one isolated problem. There's probably multiple entrepreneurs, lots of businesses having problems, and that's how you can really start to find who you want to serve and what business you want to create. And when you can do that, and ask those questions repeatedly, you'll carve out your own niche, right?
hmm
Your own section where you can become a business.
Right.
And you'll never and the best part about that is you'll never hate it. You'll
hmm
never hate the business. You'll never hate your customers because you've already researched it, you've tested it, and then you're delivering on it. And when
Right.
you deliver great value, people are going to pay you for it.
hmm
People pay you to solve their problems. That's
Right.
the beauty of it. And you're impacting their lives.
Yeah, I remember one of my mentors said, if you find a way to serve the many, you get what you want. Just don't focus on yourself, but focus on how you can help someone else to get what they want. At the end of the day, you automatically get what you want. So maybe that's what that's always stuck in my mind. Find a way to serve someone, give someone help someone, get what they want. You know. Yeah, I guess this can also reflect to go back, reflect to your job too. So if you're working a 9 to 5 job, right? If you can figure out a way how to help improve the business, what the business, the process, whatever you're doing right now, I'm pretty sure you will get promoted, you will get a raise. For example, I was working at a job, about 7 years ago. I figured I figured out a way how to improve a process. We went from running, we extract the data, from a server every day. We it took three three segment of 30 minutes, so and 1 hour and 30 minutes just to download a bunch of data. Now I figured out a way how to do it by breaking those data down into small segments, and by the end of the day, we save 2 hours 2 hours versus 1 hour 30 minutes. So I get it done in like 30 minutes, and that's a big improvement. Therefore, I got rewarded for that. So it doesn't matter what you're doing right now, whether you're working a business, or with your family. Just find a way to improve this process, and therefore you will get what you want just by improving something.
Right, right. That's a golden nugget right there, and that's a funny story because I just had this with my wife recently. She was telling me about her workplace, and she was looking around, seeing how so many people like. You guys might have heard this too, like, not my job, not my job, right? It's
Right.
not me, right? My shift's done. I'm clocking out. And when you hear stuff like that, that's an opportunity for you, right? And especially if you like the work that you're doing,
Yeah.
right? That's a way you can leverage that. You go tackle that problem,
Yeah.
right? And use that later on, if especially if they do like promotional reviews, right?
Hmm.
That's how you can contribute, right? Or if you ever want to ask for a raise, right? You can show them that, hey, Mr. Owner or Mr. Employee, Mr. Manager, I'm looking to get a raise, right?
Yeah.
And you wouldn't go direct like that, but you would show the things that you're doing, show them the problems that you're solving, right? And when
Hmm.
you start to do that a lot at high scale,
Yep.
right? That's how you can also create a role within the company, right?
Yep. You gotta be
Not only a
hungry
role,
for it.
but job security
Yeah.
too.
Security.
You
Yeah.
know,
Um.
'cause I think a lot of people, they're not willing to step up to it, and all it takes is just a little bit of effort, right? A
Yeah.
little bit, just go find out how to solve it and do it. Just take
Yeah.
action.
um,
So,
One of the things that I've heard, a lot about the Mien community is like, they have that crab in the bucket mentality, right?
mm,
Like, when someone is very successful, and they try to get out of the bucket, and and everyone's trying to grab them and put them back, back down the bucket. What do you think? It's the best way to have, them shift that mentality from, instead of having pulling everyone down a bucket, instead of putting them in a bucket, we should, like, push them out of the bucket, elevate everybody. So what do you think is the best solution for that?
I think of it as like, you surround yourself with people that are like-minded.
Yeah.
Right? And for me, for the longest time, that was like that for my life. I just wanted to, I was comfortable. I was
Hmm.
comfortable in my space, and if you get used to that kind of comfort, you're never gonna discover your true potential. And for the longest time for me, I had to rewire my brain. I had
Right.
to, I set goals, set things that I wanted to do, and then I had to figure out who am I willing to be and what am I willing to do to get those things.
Hmm.
And when I started to do that, I started shoving myself out of my comfort zone. And when you mentioned that crabs in a bucket, that we're so used to it that sometimes we don't even think about that, right? And
Yep.
what I mean by that is, if you're used to doing something all the time, and then the moment you try to do something different and
Hmm.
you fail, right, or
Right.
you don't succeed on your first attempt, which most people don't, right? Like 95% of the time they don't, right? You'll go and share something, maybe share that with a friend within your circle, and they'll tell you,
Hmm.
"Hey, man, Michael, it's no big deal. You tried. It's all right, right?" And when you get those affirmations and people tell you it's okay to go back to doing that, right? Run the opposite direction.
Yeah.
Go find someone who's gonna tell you, dude, right? Like they're gonna tell you like, go do it again or you suck, right? And when they tell you those kinds of things, right, you have to kind of convert that into like positive energy.
Hmm.
And when you start to do those kinds of things, it pushes you outwards. And that's really the beginning of growth. But it's kind of hard when you start to when you're beginning. But I mean, what could you lean into on that?
Well, I'm the type of person that, like to know why they pulling me down. I want to talk to them and say, hey, if is it a jealousy, or is it do you need help, so I'm trying to dive into the problem and find solution. That's just like two people are like trying to bug me and pull me down. um I want to find out, the root cause of it, right? Just like they said, if you can um, find a cure for a cancer, the best prevention is to catch it early on. So I would just like talk to them, find out the root cause of it. Um, you know we might be able to convert them into one of the guys that's going to be pushing you out versus dragging you down.
Right, and looks like Austin here. Hey, Austin, thanks for joining us here. He's just said, "Positive attitude is everything." Absolutely, man. Take the negative and turn it into positive. And for a lot of people, sometimes it just has to. You just have to take small steps. You can't
Yeah,
just conquer the world in one day, right? For me, when I was just starting off, and I had to rewire myself, right, get myself out of that mentality, get myself out of that crabs in a bucket. For me, it was go find motivation,
hmm,
right? But don't just listen to motivation. What I mean by that is, I was tuning into like on my drive to work when I was commuting, I was listening to motivation, right?
yeah,
Right.
yeah,
And there's this one motivation I always go back to. It's like that pastor. He talks about how bad you want it.
hmm,
I forget his name, but he tests you, right? In that
yeah.
story he talks about, he tests you like how bad you want it. Right? Do you want it? Do you want it more than you want to breathe?
Yeah,
And I always think about that, right?
I think it's maybe Mario Monroe, but I could be wrong. But yeah, it could be Mario Monroe or Zig Ziglar. I'm not sure, but those guys mentioned it. Like I said, if you surround yourself with so many positive people, and you being so positive, right? All those negative stuff that people said about you, it's gonna bounce off of you. It's not gonna get into you. You know, but like you were saying, you always want to surround yourself with positive people, and those negative people eventually will eventually turn positive because you're so positive to the point where they can't get to you.
Right, absolutely. I think right, changing, finding communities, and if you're feeling like for me, when I was just starting this off and I was listening to motivation, I was in a small town. I didn't feel like I had the resources. I
Yeah.
joined online communities,
Uh-huh.
guys. If you have access to the internet, there's people online like on Facebook groups, right? If you're curious about doing something, let's say you want to know about woodwork, right?
Hmm.
Type in woodwork or carpentry on Facebook, right? And you'll literally find a community you can join, right?
Right.
There are online communities you can hop into. There's Reddit online groups, there's forum online groups, and people meet up. Or actually go to their website, meetup.com. When I was living back in Orville, right, and I had to commute to Sacramento, I would try to find entrepreneurship groups, marketing groups, and join them. If you're like in real estate, there's real estate groups all the time, right? And there's just all kinds of groups that you can find that people have like-minded interests, and those people, they're gonna push you and drive you out of your circle. And in the
Yeah.
beginning, just doing it, you're gonna be scared.
Right.
And when you're doing that, don't tell your friends. That's the last thing you want to do. Don't tell anyone. All right, don't tell anyone you're doing it. Go and just go do it.
Yeah.
Because if you start to tell other people, you might get like, there's like, why are you trying to do that? Why are you trying to go out and do those kinds of things, right? I
Yeah.
don't know. You might get that.
Right. I think Will Smith was saying, if you want to jump out of an airplane, just go do it. you know, if you want to parachute down out of an airplane, just go do it, and then have and tell them that you did it versus like, oh, I'm about to go do it, and then because some of your friends are too negative, they can prevent you from jumping out of the airplane, right? So what I found out is like, you shouldn't let someone else's opinion determine your reality. Um, if you want to do something, you just go do it because one they're not paying your bills first of all, and they're just there to prevent you from you getting what you want. And yeah, and I would say, just go and do it. Just jump out of the airplane.
Yeah, you guys, you're never gonna have it. It's never gonna be perfect. I think there's even a quote about that, right? What was the best time? That was yesterday, right? So
Yeah.
get to doing and taking action because if you're just planning all the time and thinking about it, it's gonna cause that paralysis analysis. You're gonna feel like you have to figure out all the details and all that kind of stuff, and there will never be a perfect time, right? You want to learn just enough, and then go do it. Just take
Hmm.
action
Yeah.
because action is the biggest motivator,
Mhm.
and you're gonna find out trial and error that's gonna put you on there. And if you're not sure, ask us a question, right? Drop
Yeah.
it in the comments right now, guys. If you want to ask us anything, shoot it with us. We'll go live with you on it.
Another thing is like, I get a lot. People ask a lot of questions, right? Like, business owners like, how do I grow my business? I just opened a restaurant. How do I grow this business? What should I do to grow my business? One thing I tell them straight up, tell them is like, you shouldn't be cheap with ingredients. I mean, for example, if you have
Yeah,
a bowl of pho, right? You want to give them the best ingredients, stuff that you have there, versus like, being cheap, because if you're gonna be cheap with your ingredients, you're not gonna last long, because there are so many competitions out there. Um, give your best, what you can do with that product, and then sell that product based on the quality, not the quantity, quality. And another thing is like, customer retention is very important. I always tell them like, hey, it's cheaper to keep that person versus getting a new customer in the door. One other thing I tell them is like, if you can let's, for example, right, you mentioned the other day, when you were like at a Thai restaurant, was it in Howe Avenue?
yeah, yeah,
Can you give a little bit of detail on that? Maybe that can
yeah.
let
So
you know what I'm trying to say.
yeah, a few weeks ago, I was at here in Sacramento. I was at a Mien restaurant. I didn't know at first. I didn't know it was Mien restaurant, right? But I went to a Thai restaurant here. I think it's on I think it's Watt Avenue, and basically there was a restaurant there. I got into the restaurant. The food was smelling delicious. I was like, whoa. This is like me and my wife's first time going there, and I was like,
Mm,
"Whoa, this is really nice. It smells good." And there was a lot of people there, so the food must be good. But we're waiting there, and when we first get in, there's a man there. He just reaches out and he says, "Hey guys, I'm gonna be with you right just a moment." I mean, he didn't speak perfect English, but he acknowledged us, right? And
mm,
doing that simple thing, I was just like, "Wow, okay, this is a little different experience." Because
right.
you go to any Sacramento like Asian restaurants, they don't even look at you, right? You're looking at them, hoping that they're gonna acknowledge you eventually, right?
Mm,
But this experience was different, and when he said that to me, they're kind of like, "Oh man, he's gonna do something different here." And I watched how he was interacting with the customers, how he was bringing them up, doing
right.
things, little small things, very nuanced things,
Mm,
right? But in the back of my mind, it's like, wow, he's creating a powerful experience here, right? He's creating a way for them to come back. And I remember once we got sat down, we were sitting down and we were ordering our menu. I saw this other couple come in and they,
mm,
they stood there. He acknowledged them again when he said, "Hey guys, I'm gonna be with you right just a moment." And they're like, "Okay, we have an order
right.
coming." I said, "Okay, that order's almost ready." Right. And he goes around, he checks it, he comes back, but he's still working with customers. He's still ringing them up, people who are getting ready to check out, right? So our food is ordered. I'm still seeing the couple there. They're waiting for their food, and I'm just like, okay, I thought he would have taken care of them by now. Eventually, he gets around to them, and then he
Mm,
apologizes. He's like, guys, thank you so much for waiting. Thank you for your patience. I'm gonna go ahead and as he was ringing it up, he says, "Hey, I'm gonna just take off one thing off here for you guys. I apologize for that wait for you for that long period. I said I was gonna go and take care of you guys, but that was my fault. I'm sorry."
right.
And I was just like, whoa, this guy's doing something different.
Yeah.
He's changing up the
Yep.
experience.
Yep. And
And I mean, how would you feel if you were the customer on that end?
I was like, man, I'm coming back with my friends and family. I'm gonna tell more of my friends and family, just because of the service. Like back in the days, right? People go to the restaurant for the food, not the customer service. But nowadays, this started changing, because there's so many restaurants are being closed, because different ethnicities are coming to eat your restaurant at a restaurant, and they're giving you a negative reviews because of poor customer service. You know, and I was, one thing I want to say is like, you have to cater to everyone, not just Mien people. And not only that, if you Mien people, if you Mien, eating at Mien restaurant, don't ask for a discount. I've heard that a lot. Oh yeah, my cousins come here, they want a discount. If they ask you for a discount, charge them twice. So how do you feel about that, man?
Yeah, these. It, That's probably like probably one of the biggest things, even inside the Mien communities, right? The moment you find out, and if you're a Mien business owner, Mien business owners know this too, right? They
Yeah,
don't want to acknowledge sometimes that that person is Mien
yeah.
because they already have this feeling like because they've had an experience that that person's gonna ask for a discount, right? And
I know your mom.
if you're a patron, right? If you're someone who's visiting that restaurant, right?
Hmm.
Do what you can to serve. I mean, to don't ask for discount, right? They're just like any other restaurant. They're trying to stay keep their business afloat. They have to pay employees. They have to take care of
Yeah,
their family. They got bills to pay for, right?
that's something they gotta
And,
understand. There's bills.
yeah.
Yeah.
And oh, I just found the restaurant. The restaurant has to do a shout out for them. It's House of Thai Restaurant Noodle. They're on Watt Avenue.
Oh,
That's
okay.
yeah. And that guy, man, I asked for his name, but I forgot. But yeah, man, he did something different, and I just remember that experience. It was so sticky,
Yeah.
right? And here's the other thing: I wasn't the only person who noticed that. The table in front of me, the
Uh,
guy looked at me, and I looked at him. He's like, "Yeah, like that. This is a good restaurant to come to."
yeah.
People see these things, people notice these things, and when you acknowledge your customers and you create a great positive experience,
Hmm.
right? That's gonna be the difference with the next time that person has to decide what kind of which Thai restaurant should I go to, right? Which Asian restaurant should I go to,
Right.
right? And that's a great way to get retention by
Hmm.
just having that, creating that experience. So yeah, I mean, it's worked on me. So
Hopefully
so
that can apply to everyone else out there. Just go there for the experience.
right. I mean, there's and if you're a Mien business owner and you're on here, like look for feedback, right? Look for feedback. Ask your customers, like, hey guys, how do you guys like the experience today, right? If they dined in, right? Is there anything we could have done differently, right? Even though they're probably raving and they're happy about it, when you take that time to ask that question, it shows that you care, and that's another thing they're gonna remember. Like, gosh, this owner he went out of his way to ask me a simple question. People come back to that, and you can even follow up with that. Say, hey guys, if there's nothing else we could do today, you had such a great experience. Do you mind going on a Yelp, going on Google, and leaving us a 5-star review, right? When you do that, right, people are gonna do that. They're gonna follow through. But sometimes, right, you have to tell people to do those things,
Hmm.
and those reviews will start to get padded up. They'll get, because sometimes people, and you guys might have seen this on other negative stuff, right? People only leave reviews when they're negative, right?
Right. Right.
You don't want to just leave all those. You don't want to catch all those negative reviews. So ask for the positive reviews, right?
Yeah. And if you're a business owner, you have to create. You can't be a robot. You have to be you have to be human. You have to constantly create that human relationship with your customer. Um, I I have an example. Like maybe this is like I'll say
Oh, did we lose you? Might have lagged out there. You just said something there. Yeah, so you've been to the restaurant too then. It's a different experience, right? Someone's got hashtag Nori. Hey, Tony. So I think Kid just lagged out here. So if I'm still on here, I'm just gonna go down some of these lists. We just made a few bullet points. None of this is scripted, guys. If you're joining us late, please give us a like or hit that heart button, drop an emoji, drop a GIF, right? Let us know that and tell us where you're from. We're curious. Austin's here's like, don't be afraid to leave a negative workplace and move on. Absolutely, right? And that's the other thing for the mindset. People move on to other things. Uh, but most of the time you get further in life. Absolutely, right? I have a story about that. Also, you just hit here. Customer service is always number one. Now, if it's good or bad, you can always turn it around. Absolutely, you guys, you can always fix a negative experience. In fact, when I was running my local business and I had a negative review, maybe a 1-star or 2-star, even after I sent out a survey because I had an automated follow up with my clients, sometimes they wouldn't tell me, right? And they would find out after the fact, because you know how it is. People would go find out, and they left me a negative review, and I would go and call them up. Right? I would call them up and say, "Hey, guy, Mr. Client, was there something that I did wrong? Was there something when you say that, put it in that frame? Was there something I did wrong? It's gonna hook them. They're gonna be, oh, well, let me check. Let me see what was wrong, right? And when I did it like that, it struck something in them. Like, oh, maybe he didn't do anything wrong, right? When you humanize your business, you put yourself in your business. People think about that, right? And then I asked that Mr. is like I asked that client, hey, if there was anything I didn't do wrong, is anything we couldn't have fixed or made better for you, would you mind going back to that review and changing it? And I got people to go back there to go change that review for me. I flipped like 1 star reviews into 5 stars, right? And if you're on Yelp or Google, I think Yelp for sure, you can definitely respond to those. Right? You can respond to those reviews, right? And don't make it automated, make it human, speak casual. Don't say like, due to your displeasure or something, and we're unfortunate you were unhappy with this, right? Don't do it like that. That's robotic. And other people read those reviews. They read your negative reviews, right? Okay, you're back here. Okay.
Connected.
Okay, you're back live, and I just rebroadcast to you.
Okay, yeah, I got disconnected.
Okay, cool, cool. So you're back on here. I think mine's a little laggy, but guys, drop us questions, things you want to know about, right? About business, how to start a business, professional career, how to get a promotion within the job, right? We'd love to share these strategies with you, and we're gonna be on here for another 10 more minutes. But guys, keep asking your questions and drop your comments below. We're gonna go back and we'll answer all of these, as much as we possibly can for you. So Austin here just dropped another comment. You can do something wrong and fix it, and they'll be a customer for life. The fact that you fixed it will make customers happy. Absolutely,
Yep.
right? That's how you get. That's how you get your diehard. That's how you create diehard fans, diehard customers, and those
Mm-hmm.
people, right? If you think about it, if you're happy about a good experience, you feel good. That feeling. The next time you go back to that business, right? Not only within that time period, right? You're gonna go tell your friends and family members. You're gonna recommend them, right? And that's what you want. That's what you want your business to grow on, right? So you don't have to go buy ads. So you don't have to pay for marketing and advertising, right? Word of mouth. That's still the most traditional way, and it's free. But focus on that experience. Over deliver. That's what I always say. Over deliver. Right? If something's wrong, do your
Yeah,
best to fix it. Wouldn't you say?
I agree. So one of the things that like I said, I was gonna say, a lot of our, real estate agents, right? They always keep asking for referrals and stuff like that, and some of them are very aggressive and they're doing it the wrong way, and they'll push people away. One thing I gave them is like, if you sell a house, right, build a relationship with the person. That if that if well, when it comes up that person's birthday, send them a birthday card. Show them that you care. And the kid's birthday or the what Christmas that's coming up, send them something. It doesn't have to be a lot of money. It probably costs you like maybe less than $5, but once you show that person that you care, they're gonna like refer their friends and family to you. Um,
Yeah.
and it doesn't cost you anything. Uh, but that sales. Well, once you make that sales, you can't just like be like, hey, I make my money already. Forget about that person. It doesn't work like that. We're human. So if you build a relationship with them, you can eat from them for a long time. And without, like I said, without you don't really have to spend any money on marketing. That's your marketing. You're spending marketing on and invest your marketing money into the relationship marketing. So what do you think?
Yeah, absolutely. These days, I'm so used to doing things where you don't have to spend money for marketing, and
Right.
I have all these strategies and tips that I even share with my clients. Then let them know that hey, there's a lot of different ways you can, approach that, right? Or how you deliver it, right? Delivery is one thing that's huge, right? Delivery, and what I mean by that is like how you frame the conversation, right? How, ask them as if it was like someone that you cared about deeply, right? Care about the relationship more than their business.
Hmm.
And when you can show that and you humanize it, right? People are going to remember those things too. And
Right.
it translates across all things, whether it's you're a professional, if you're working a job, right? If you're, in a business, you own a business, right? All those things, right? Just like they help out and they go a long way.
Hmm. Um, Before we go, can you tell us, a little bit about Ba-Ong? Like,
Yeah, yeah. So a little bit about Ba-Ong, guys. So we have 3 pillars, right? One of the reasons we created Ba-Ong is basically to create a community, to foster and elevate the Mien people. That's what we want to do. We want to put Mien people first, right, and bring each other up. That's one of our goals, to help pull each other up, because we hear that a lot in the Mien community. Mien people don't help each other. They're, they only focus about a few things, right? But and we want to change that. And that's why we were so focused on creating this community first, trying to give back unselfishly. And one of the big projects that we have going on is we're actually going to film a Mien documentary, guys, a Mien documentary, right? And Kim, maybe you can lean in on that.
yeah. So I have like I've like, I got hold of a few of my friends, and we're thinking about like going to China, creating a Mien documentary from our perspective. We have like a lot of stuff out there, but it's coming from someone else's perspective. So this documentary is gonna be about us telling the story from our perspective. And who knows, we might be able to showcase this in the Sundance Festival and other international festivals and stuff like that.
Yes, absolutely, guys. We're trying to create a good production, high quality Mien documentary. You guys have seen our website, and if you haven't, go to BAONGFAMILY.com. We try to polish things as much as we can to make it, to deliver, high quality for you guys. We want to show you guys that Mien people have the means and capability to create something high value, right? And the Mien documentary is going to do that. Right? We're going to do a lot of interviews, and that has to do with also raising funds. And Bong family, a lot of people ask, what's the cost, what's the goal? That's what it is. We're allocating those funds. And when me and Kid were talking about, like, what should we do? Should we create a nonprofit or should we create a for-profit, right? And you and me both had experiences about working with nonprofits. My first company was for nonprofits, by the way, but that's for another story. But we saw the structure, we saw the format, and there's nothing against nonprofits. They have a great mission, they have goals and things they want to solve and give back to the community. But what we saw was that by creating a for-profit, we can allocate funds by having the ability to market. And if you guys don't know about nonprofits, you can't market, right? So how can you let the world know about your mission, your goals, and your causes? You can't market, right? You have to do a lot of referral building, right? Build networks and stuff like that. And when me and kids saw that, it was like, let's try a different model where we can focus on the for-profit to generate that revenue, so we can create these things and these projects. And we're already working on with a lot of projects right now, which we can't fully diverge because it's still being in progress, it's being developed. But you guys are going to be seeing us a lot over the next several months in Mien events, Mien cultural stuff, and we're giving back unselfishly 24/7. We're going to be doing these Mien Talk series, and we're going to be bringing in Mien speakers, right? People who have made it and they want to share their story because they have so much to give. There's so many Mien people that want to give back, right? And we want to create this platform to
Right.
give back to them. So yeah. Richard just left a comment here. Hey Richard, how's it going? He said he bought two houses in a 1.5 years and never got a thank you note from his agent. Right? See, I mean, if you're a real estate agent, or you think about being a real estate agent, write notes, write note cards. With everyone giving out emails these days, sending out text messages, right? That stuff flies by. It's like noise, right? It's like white
Yeah.
noise. And if you take a time just like less than 5 minutes to write a hand note card, right, and send it out, people remember that stuff.
Hmm.
Right? Go the extra distance. Be different. And when you can do that, going back to creating that experience, people are gonna remember that. They're gonna remember when you remember their birthday. They're gonna remember when you remember your anniversary, right? Or
Hmm.
your pet's name, your son's name. Those things, yeah, they all matter in today's world of digital online stuff. So we got a couple minutes left, you guys. If you have questions, keep asking us, all right? Because we're gonna keep answering these even long after the broadcast. So we'll answer these, continue the conversation offline. Kate, is there anything else you want to add? Is there anything that you want to share with the community that you've noticed, or maybe a comment?
Um, one of the thing people ask is be like how do I manage my time, right? So I always tell them, hey, there are 24 hours in a day. Yeah, it's always up to you how to use it. Because I have like I have a schedule. I mean like a calendar that I filled up, filled up like quickly. So I tend to go by my schedule, but I don't sleep until usually like around 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock, sometimes 2 o'clock in the morning. I'm basically at night. I'm basically talking to my suppliers in China or overseas and stuff like get studying making deals while they're still awake over there. Um, and I guess it's just how you manage it. There's 24 hours in a day. It's just how you want to use your time, and the one that learn how to use it wisely will be able to get more out of it from the day. What about you? What are you? Do you have any tips for someone that?
Yeah, that's a great question. Time is always tough. I'm a family man, and just like you, a lot of us are family people, right? And we have a lot of priorities and things. I try to write down what the things that are keeping me busy. And if you're constantly, feeling like you're running out of time, feeling like you can't manage your time, write it down. Write down what you're doing
Yeah.
at any given time. And then when you go back and look at that list, do it after like every single day. And by the end of the week, you're gonna see a pattern, right? Cross out
Hmm.
those things that aren't delivering, helping you, or it isn't pushing you towards your goals. Right? If you want to do that one thing, you want to learn that new skill, you want to get that new thing, right? Find out what it is that's sucking up all your time, right? If you're spending so much time learning, consuming knowledge, maybe that might be the problem.
Right.
So that's one of my strategies for it. And start crossing out stuff that's taking your time. And when you're cognizant of it, right, catch
Hmm.
yourself, stop doing it, go focus on doing the other things. But yeah, we got
Um,
any last minute stuff here.
yeah, before we go, can you give me a little detail about that event that's happening in Orville? I just couldn't forgot about it. It was the
Oh,
Christmas.
yeah, yeah.
When was it?
Guys, so there's a in Orville, California. There's going to be a Mien Christmas party event there. It's to give back to the community and help fundraise for local charity events. Tickets are available. You can private message us for details on it. But it's going to be on December 14th. I'm just yeah, December 14th. So that's next week, Saturday, guys. Tickets I think are between like, well, we can send you the details, but it's their standard rate, and you can get like a VIP table also. It's gonna be first come first serve. So yeah, that's gonna be happening in Orville, California. It's gonna be a Christmas party to fundraise and stuff to give back to the community. So something that's happening, and also there's another event coming up, right, in January. Tell me about.
Yeah, yeah. It's the Mien New Year in Sacramento. It's gonna be held at a holiday villa. With raising funds for the scholarship for that we give out every year. So it's on January 18th, 2020. We still have like a few VIP tables and tables left. So if you guys go to IMA's page and get some details from there.
Okay, cool, cool. And guys, we're gonna close off here. I want to thank you guys all for staying on here, but we want to give something back to you guys, especially. Right, you guys see these that we're wearing? We put these on purpose. So, kids got a beanie. I've got a hat. We want to pick out two lucky winners, guys, for staying on this long with us and joining us with this call. Let us know, right? Tell us which one you want. We're gonna pick two lucky winners, okay? So two winners are gonna get it. Tell us which one if you want. You want a hat or you want a beanie? Just drop it in the comment, and we're gonna pick two lucky winners. So we're gonna message you the details. All right. So thank you guys all so much for joining us on this first episode. We're going to be introducing our next speaker soon. Be on the lookout. Like our page on Facebook. We're also on Instagram, BAONGFAMILY.com. Like us, follow us, and then we're going to be letting you guys know about upcoming events. So yeah, stay tuned for that. We're going to try to do these weekly on Wednesday. So next one would be December 11th. All right. So yeah, guys, thanks so much. That's
All
it.
right,
Bye.
peace out.